Hello everybody, welcome back to Aurelia, to episode 21, the last episode of the year. I hope you guys enjoyed the showcase episode last week. It obviously just showed the progress so far, the downtown, the main core, and maybe on the edges some slight transition into the less dense areas, but the city is obviously far from finished. Therefore, for example, the highway network does look seriously overscaled right now when compared to what's already built, just like the skyscrapers and so on. And the city, of course, lacks some things a city should have. A park, for example, low-density outskirts, suburbs, and all those kinds of things. All I can say to that is the city is not yet done. Simple as that. Anyway, today's episode will be slightly different. There won't be a high-density complete build at the end of it, because today's episode will start a new chapter in the city expansion. So a lot of planning ahead of us, as well as brand new projects dealing with new designs, new approaches, and so on. In the coming episodes, we will take a look at this area between the river and the already finished city, which right now ends by the highway. I have one particular huge project in mind for a long time already, towards which we still need to expand the city in this exact direction. So in order to do that, we need this place done. And the main thing here is going to be a huge city park. The park itself and its surroundings will take us a long time, so it's not going to be done in one episode project. I will do a bit more talking about the plans towards the end of this episode after we are done building, so I just can put things into perspective. So let's go. Okay, so at first I wanted to stretch the tram line that we have already going from the main city. It's the tram line that goes from the crater area into the more recently built place, the one with the transfer station, the one going on the upper part of it. Now, it doesn't really terminate anywhere. It just goes from that city and has like a temporary loop. And right now, I really wanted to have it cut straight through some sort of a future park in here. And also, I wanted to just go back to the river with this line. So it's going to kind of turn towards the river in this area. Now, I was doing this part on the live stream that I made during the live stream during the Christmas holidays, and you guys suggested that I should probably do some kind of a interesting looking tram station in some sort of like a curve area, and that the different directions of the tram lines should be separated into some sort of I don't know, design stop. So I decided to do it just like this, to create some sort of an eye. Like the Egyptian eye symbol or something like that, like loosely resembling that. So I did just a really random shape with this, absolutely non-symmetrical, with the roads, with the one-way roads, and just created a circle out of the pedestrian path all around this, with the eye having the center of the circle around it. Now in this eye, I really wanted to have water, so it's not exactly a big area, so I had to use some sort of networks that would change the terrain to lower the terrain and obviously have the water source inside it. So I used those keys with move it, just put them lower, and then because we had the clipping into the terrain, I had to somehow cover it, so I used these concrete walls like this. So that was kind of straightforward, but in the end it actually turned out looking quite nice. And we obviously, in order to complete the eye, we have to create some sort of a dot inside the eye with something. So I decided to just use this planter, which I obviously made bigger using the procedural object scaling option. Now, this is going to be inside a park, but that doesn't mean it's not going to have any buildings. I was thinking of maybe putting some sort of like galleries or restaurants, or like small like ice cream shops or something like that. Like buildings that you might find at the beginning of a park or something like that. So that's exactly what I was doing here. Those buildings that I used there were a bit taller, and I didn't really want to use any tall buildings, so I changed them into procedural objects and made them smaller. I also used this tower version, again cut off like 2 floors of it, and just use a smaller variant of that particular building in here. So it kind of creates like a low density appearance in this place, which is definitely what this place needs. And like I said, maybe these buildings are some sort of galleries, or just some public buildings with some maybe public services or something like that, right? Now, in order to make this a bit more interesting, I used the gravel surface underneath all these tracks. By the way, these roads won't have any, well, any traffic. They won't have any personal cars and cargo traffic on them. I obviously had to allow some services, well, all the services, because I later am going to put the event generator right next to one of these buildings. So that obviously needs to have road access. And maybe later I'm going to put the blank shop into maybe one of those buildings as well, so that there are actually people going into them. Even though this park, I definitely suppose that it's going to be very, very alive, because there's going to be a lot of people going in here. I'm going to later change it into the Park Life Park, so that there's going to be a lot of people visiting it, so that we have a lot of, it's just going to be very alive. Now, this project that I'm going to do here in today's video is definitely not going to be, like I said, something very high density, or, that super multi-level like I did last time, or pretty much in every episode before. But we are still going to do some nice detailing stuff in here. For example, this particular thing in here, which is, let's say like a tunnel, pedestrian tunnel, or just underpass maybe, underneath the road with the tracks. So it's going to look like this. I really didn't want to just create a simple tunnel with that pedestrian path. I'm pretty sure it's even impossible. It doesn't have a tunnel entrance model. So I used this. Again, I was doing this on the live stream, and someone suggested that I should do the stairs on the sides, because it allowed me to cover the edges of the terrain, because there is like a cliff that obviously goes some distance away from the road, the pedestrian road underneath this, and I would have to just cover it up somehow, either with some fake terrain, maybe like an angled procedural object, grass maybe, or something like that. But this was definitely a lot easier, just doing, well, a lot easier. I mean, the basic idea was kind of straightforward and a lot more, how to say it, a lot more obvious that I should do it like this, but the execution was kind of took a long time. If you've seen the live stream, then you know that it took me a couple of hours to do these stairs in here. And obviously they are functional stairs. I made the invisible pedestrian paths in them so that they are working. I had to later change the pedestrian path that I used, the Park Life pedestrian path that I used for this circle, and I had to change it for the network extensions boardwalk, because I really had to use a road in here instead of a pedestrian path, because the way pedestrian paths work in this game is that you must connect them. Like physically, there must be a shared node between two paths. Otherwise, people won't really walk between them. And unlike a road, or in this case, this boardwalk and pedestrian path, you can just move the pedestrian path closer to it, and it's going to connect. Now, a bit of a different thing in here. I also did, like I said, we're gonna do a lot of planning, because we need to kind of prepare this entire area for future expansion. So I was also doing these roads, and I decided to do it so that I'm gonna put two roundabouts from this main avenue, or on this main avenue. I'm gonna put two roundabouts so that the radial paths going from the eye, from the circle around the eye, are going to aim exactly straight to the center of those two roundabouts. So you could have seen me do that in that part. And the edge of the roundabout is going to be some kind of an organic shape, using just this very, very simple, like a neighborhood road or whatever it's called. Obviously, it's not completely done. I'm probably going to change that shape of that particular road based on, what kind of buildings are going to be around the road. Then it was obviously a lot of detailing around here. I definitely wanted to detail this place quite a lot. I put a lot of those rocks around the stairs, which definitely turned out very, very nice. I'm not using rocks to detail that much, or pretty much at all. So this was kind of the first thing, and it definitely looks all right. I'm also going to put a lot more buildings in this area, but again, something very, very low density, maybe some kind of like little small restaurants, or just like a simple shops, something that you would find in maybe the centers of some parks, or at the entrances to some parks, or something like that. And this place definitely is like the main point where people would probably enter the park, because a lot of people are probably just going to drive here by the tram. They probably won't go here on foot and enter, from some other points of the park. This is probably going to be the main entrance to the park. So it makes sense to put some buildings in here and have it just concentrated around here and not really just all around the park, right? The rest of the park is probably going to be a lot more natural with a lot more trees, a lot more green, and absolutely no buildings at all. Especially like around this center of the entire park. Now that's almost it with the detailing. I have to apologize. I did not record the rest of the detailing with all the trees and flowers, but we are now going to do something more important. So here we see like a static image of the park area, and you can definitely see that it's a huge part of the entire city. Now, this part, the green part, the highlighted part, is going to be something that we're going to focus on in the next episodes, couple of episodes, because I really want to finish this part closer to the main city. Probably going to put some residential places in there or something like that. Now, in this area over here, that's probably going to be some office areas, definitely closer to the interchange is going to be some office areas, and probably mixed with some residential, high density residential or something like that. Now, some kind of residential even on this part of the main avenue, and this orange line is going to mark like the start of maybe some lowish density residential parts, because there's like a little hill which I really want to raise a bit more, kind of emphasize the terrain features in here. So definitely going to be some terraforming and something like that. So that's going to take us a really long time. Like I said, in the future episodes, couple of episodes, I would like to focus on that residential area right next to the already finished areas, and then we will see. Then we will see how it's going to turn out, and it will probably become more and more obvious how we need to continue. All right, so that was all for today's episode. There are still some cinematics of the eye area that we have built, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. Hope you liked it. If you did, then definitely leave a thumbs up, comment, and share. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and all those other things. So thank you again, guys. Take care and goodbye.